Today we're going to be ranking every single L line, all 8 of them. This might piss you off, this might make you happy depending on what ranking I give your line. We are ranking them from 1 to 10, so let's get started. First off is the green line, which is probably my least favorite one to ride. It's incredibly slow, especially on the Lake Street L, and there always seems to be something going wrong that makes delays very frequent, such as track fires, which delayed me the most recent time I took it. The last time I was on the green line, literally everyone in the car was also smoking weed, which smoking weed on the L is nothing new, but every single person in the car. At the next station, I transferred to the next car, and everyone was smoking in that one too. Gross. The green line frequency is also just really bad in general, so waiting for like 30 minutes on the train platform, that sucks. And trying to get to Cottage Grove or Ashland shouldn't be as hard as it is. Those are transit deserts, and we should be improving service to those areas. It's not clean, it's not reliable, and I don't think it should have the 7000s running on it in these conditions. 4 out of 10. Next up is the pink line. I don't ride the pink line very often, and to be honest, I haven't taken it farther than Ashland, so I don't think I can really give it too in-depth of a review. I've always experienced friendly train operators and pretty clean trains on the pink line though, and I also know several people who take it and they say it's pretty good. Frequency isn't fantastic. Sometimes you'll be waiting, like 15 to 20 minutes, and that's like during rush hour, so it's not fantastic, but I like the infrastructure. Overall, I think the pink line runs a good service, and I don't really have too many notes for them. 6 out of 10. Now we've got the red line. During the summer, it's the line I ride the most consistently. The schedule for weekday trains is pretty standard at every 8 minutes, though I often see clusters of 95th bound trains at a much higher frequency. I'm not sure if this is due to certain delays or whatever, but the train spacing could be a bit better. There's always headlines about crime on the red line, mainly at stations such as 69th or Roosevelt, and that's where I've seen it with my own eyes. But this is often quite overblown in the news, and when I take the honest opinions of red line riders, it's a much different story. The red line can be pretty slow and pretty fast in different sections of its route. Hopefully we'll be seeing faster speeds very soon on the North Side Main Line, since they're creating the new concrete viaducts which just opened. Overall, in terms of reliability, the red line is the best of any L route, and it's your best bet getting where you need to go in that corridor. 8 out of 10. Now the blue line is a hodgepodge of different track quality, different rolling stock, and really weird stations. Many of my favorite neighborhoods are served by the blue line, and this definitely adds points for me as I can connect very easily at LaSalle to go there. Despite my love for the destinations, the experience itself isn't always up to standards. On the Forest Park branch, trains can be really slow, and even in rush hour it might make sense to take the bus instead. Track rebuilds have actually just begun though between Illinois Medical District and Clinton, meaning operations should be improving soon on the Forest Park branch. Other than pretty long travel times and a plethora of schedule issues, and also the crime issues that also plague the red line, the blue line's still one of my favorites. 7 out of 10. This might shock some people, but I take the brown line any chance I can get. It is easily my favorite line on the L, and I have a few reasons as to why. In my experience, it tends to be cleaner and safer than most other lines, though there are some exceptions, and it runs into my favorite neighborhoods, just like the blue line does. I love the at-grade sections, and winding your way north is very fun, even if it is slow if you're commuting. This is usually the biggest criticism, is that the line's just very slow, as well as some issues with infrequency, which, yes, that does happen from time to time, just like every other line. Since this doesn't really affect me, though, I will not count that against it, as I'm never in any real rush when I'm taking the brown line. My favorite part is definitely the Belmont flyover, which is the newest part of infrastructure on the line, and it's just so much fun going up that high on the L. You never thought you'd do it, and then here you are. Nice stations, nice destinations, nice connections. 9 out of 10. Now, the purple line is pretty good at being an express service, even if it's only running during weekday rush hour, and I have high expectations for it once the Northside Main Line tracks are fully rebuilt. Its stations north of Howard are very cool in my opinion, and while old, I think they have a lot of charm, especially being in a very wooded area. My only wish would be that the purple line would enter the loop counterclockwise, just like the brown line. I find myself missing connections at LaSalle quite often because of this, and I have had to wait sometimes several hours then afterwards. 6 out of 10. In terms of speed, the Orange Line wins hands down. As I mentioned in my Orange Line video, it is the newest built and has concrete viaducts and guideways for the majority of its run. This makes it very convenient for people traveling to or from Midway and the Loop. In the future, the 7000 series will replace the 40-plus-year-old 2600s that currently run. With the modern rolling stock on smooth track, it will be the fastest line for quite a bit longer than the others. With a pretty consistent schedule and minimal crime compared to most other lines, I can confidently give the Orange Line an 8 out of 10. It would be a 10 out of 10 if not for the awful station land use. And last but not least, we have the shortest L line, the Yellow Line. As much as I enjoy riding the Yellow Line for its greenery and seeing the old catenary supports and seeing the Skokie shops, which are great if you're a transit fan, it's still not my favorite. The biggest issue I have with it is the fact that it exists at all. It's solely intended to provide service for suburban commuters. Several parts of Chicago are in dire need of better transit, especially rail transit. This access that they get really irks me because Skokie it's nice that they have service, but other parts of Chicago need that service way before the suburbs get it. And they've had that service for a long time. That being said, it's still a really nice ride in only 10 minutes. And I like the infrastructure, I love the two-car trains, it's very cute, I'm head over heels for the trees. 8 out of 10. Also, the Yellow Line will probably be getting its own brief history video coming soon.
Gracias por ver este video, estén atentos al próximo donde Lee Crooks entra a cocinar enchiladas.